Have you ever really looked at your favorite snack and wondered what's actually in it? I mean, beyond just the flavor. We're talking about the stuff that gives it that perfect crunch or lets it sit on a shelf for months. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the secret identity of the foods we eat every day.
So let me ask you straight up, what's in that go-to snack you always grab? You know, the bar you eat on the way to class or the chips you munch on while you're studying? It's probably a lot more complicated than you think. And believe me, it has a huge impact on how you feel all day long. And this is exactly why it matters so much. A whopping 57% of the daily calories that adults in the US eat come from what are called ultra-processed foods. And what's even crazier, for kids and teens, that number jumps to 67%. So, what in the world are these foods?
Well, there's actually a surprisingly easy way to figure it out. It's something called the kitchen test, and it's a super simple tool you can use the next time you're wandering down a grocery aisle. Okay, so first, a quick definition so we're all on the same page. Ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, are basically industrial creations. They're made from substances that are stripped from whole foods and then put back together with a ton of additives. The main thing you gotta remember is they usually have little, if any, actual whole food left in them.
And here is that kitchen test in a nutshell. It's this simple. If you're reading an ingredients list and you see stuff you wouldn't just have sitting in your own kitchen cabinet, you're probably holding an ultra-processed food. Okay, so here's how you do it. It's so easy. First, grab any packaged snack from your pantry. Go on, do it now. Second, flip it over and read that super tiny ingredients list. Then just ask yourself one question. Would I have this in my kitchen? Like, do you have a jar of maltodextrin or disodium inosinate next to the salt and pepper? If the answer's no, chances are you've got a UPF right there in your hand.
And this table just makes it so clear, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the stuff we all recognize, right? Flour, sugar, eggs, spices. But on the right, that's the industrial stuff. These are ingredients cooked up in a lab to make food last longer, feel a certain way in your mouth, or have a flavor that's just impossible to create at home.
So how does a simple food, like a potato grown on a farm, turn into one of these industrial formulations? Well, the journey from the field to that shiny bag is actually pretty wild.
You know, everything starts out as something real. A potato, a kernel of corn, a chickpea. It's a whole food. It's recognizable, and it's what our bodies are actually designed to eat and digest.
But here's where the transformation happens. Look on the left. If you make potato chips at home, you need 3 things: potatoes, oil, and salt. Simple. Now, look at the right. That's the ingredient list from a popular bag of flavored chips. Sure, it starts with potatoes, but then it turns into a full-blown chemistry experiment designed to be hyper-palatable, which is just a fancy way of saying it's so tasty you literally can't stop eating it.
And during all of this intense processing, something really crucial gets lost. It's called the food matrix. You can think of it like the natural scaffolding of a food, the structure that holds all the good stuff, like fiber and nutrients, together. Ultra-processing just completely pulverizes that structure.
So who cares, right? Why does it matter if that food matrix is destroyed? Well, what it does to us when we eat it brings us to what I like to call the body's energy roller coaster. See, because that natural structure is gone, your body doesn't really have to work to break the food down. The sugars and fats are just right there, ready to go, and they hit your system almost instantly. This causes this huge spike in blood sugar that our bodies just are not built to handle over and over again. And this is what that feels like. If you eat something like oatmeal, a whole food, your energy is nice and steady. But if you grab a sugary cereal bar, a classic UPF, you get that huge rocket ship of energy followed by a really hard crash. It is the definition of an energy roller coaster. And that crash isn't just about feeling a little sleepy. It's that brain fog you get in the middle of the afternoon when you can't concentrate. It's feeling kind of cranky for no reason, or that sudden energy slump that makes it impossible to focus on your work. Sound familiar? Yeah, I bet it does.
And you know, the impact goes way beyond a bad mood. Major studies have found a direct connection here. A diet that's high in these foods is linked to a 48% increased risk of anxiety. That is a serious link between what's on our plate and our mental health.
Okay, so I know this all might sound a little bit doom and gloom, but listen, this is not about being perfect or feeling guilty. Not at all. It's just about being aware and making small, smart choices that can add up to some really big wins for your health and your focus. And I mean really simple swaps.
Instead of grabbing a soda, grab water. Instead of a bag of chips, try a handful of salted nuts. You still get that salty crunch. Swap out that super sugary flavored yogurt for some plain yogurt and just add your own fruit. And hey, don't sleep on frozen or canned veggies. As long as they don't have added junk, they're fantastic, affordable options.
The big takeaway here is not to demonize these foods or try to eliminate them completely. I mean, that's just not realistic for most of us. The goal is simply to be informed. It's about being able to identify what you're eating and just trying to make real whole foods the star of the show whenever you can.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question. We know the food industry is brilliant at making these products cheap, convenient, and incredibly delicious. That's their job. But knowing what you know now about how they can affect your energy, your focus, your mood, what's one small, different choice you can make for yourself today?